Call this meeting to order at 6:30, and we'll start, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. I'll now turn things over to the superintendent for the celebration of excellence.
Thank you very much. So we have quite a few students that we're recognizing tonight, which we are very excited about. The first will be our Bolton Center School Scholar Pass Award winners. Bolton Center School is proud to announce that Nicole D'Annunzio and Natalie Ansaldi are this year's CAS Award winners. Nicole sets the standard high for quality academics. Her unwavering commitment to her academics not only helps her succeed, but has also helped her become a leader in the classroom. She jumps at any opportunity to participate, works well with her peers, and willingly teaches others concepts that might not be clear. Nicole creates a friendly and motivated working environment that benefits all of those around her. In addition to her academics, she is an active member of the BCS music community, participating in both chorus and band. She represented BCS when she qualified for Eastern Regional's Honors Band in the fall. She also serves on the BCS Student Council and Invention Convention committees. Her positive influence is palpable, no matter the class, the group, or the occasion. Nicole, congratulations to you on this very well-deserved honor. Well done. Would you like to say anything, Nicole?
Yes, thank you so much for the honor. I'm honored to be selected.
You're welcome. Congratulations. Well deserved. And our other winner, Natalie Ansaldi, embodies what it means to be a role model. She is a quiet, patient leader who guides by example. She can always be counted on to do her very best work with her peers very effectively and persevere no matter what challenge is presented. Middle school can often be a tumultuous time period when students may not always be as nice as they could be to one another. And Natalie always rises above and leads with kindness and demonstrates that and models that for others. She applies her positive attributes both inside and outside of the classroom setting. She was a 2-year member of the BCS cross-country team and has been a dedicated dance student her entire life. Her teachers are so proud of her achievements and are honored to present her with this CAS award also. Natalie, congratulations to you. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, it's such an honor to have this award. I'm very thankful.
Congratulations. Well deserved. And now on to our robotics team. Team 1227C, Cora, Cami, Lena, Juliana, and Mia competed in the VEX IQ World Championship last week, along with their coach, Ms. Dory Moore. The VEX IQ season began with 8,500 teams competing in local competitions across the globe. 694 teams were invited to the Elementary World Championship. The girls competed in the innovative division where they finished in 70th place, the same division as the World Teamwork Champions. The team did an excellent job collaborating with each other and with teams from around the world. They played with teams from Australia, China, Texas, Virginia, Indiana, Florida, Utah, California, and Arizona. The team also finished with a season high of 63 points in programming and driver skills. A special shout out to them for winning the girl-powered selfie contest at Worlds. The girls represented Bolton on the world stage and should be very, very proud of their accomplishments this season. And I also want to commend Dory for the great job that she did with our students as well. Way to go. Congratulations. And I also want to thank PTA and all of the parents who donated monies to get the team to Texas to be able to compete. That was just awesome. Dory, would you or any of the kids like to say anything?
Yeah, I'll go first. It was such a surprise and exciting thing, and it was so great to have all the support from everybody. We definitely felt it, and I mean, I'm speaking for the girls, but I think they had an amazing trip. And it was really neat to just see teams from all over the world competing and to have our team interact right there with them. So thanks for the opportunity. We're really proud of ourselves. So
You should be. Thank you very much. Okay, now on to our big announcements for this evening. This year's valedictorian, it gives me great pleasure to announce, is Roy Sienes. Congratulations, Roy. Roy has been involved in, yeah, let's give him a big hand first. We'll give him a hand at the end too. Roy has been involved in many, many parts of Bolton High School. To name a few, he's participated extensively in both the music and drama programs, athletics, is a member of the National Honor Society, and has received numerous academic awards during his time at BHS. His teachers have all noted not only his academic prowess across every discipline, but also his kindness towards his peers, as well as his creativity and attention to detail. Roy will be attending Worcester Polytech Institute in the fall to study computer science. Roy, this is a huge honor, and I know you worked very hard for it. Congratulations, young man. Well done. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you for taking the time to recognize me for this honor. And I'm very grateful for the education I've been able to receive at Bolton High School. And I think that will prepare me well to attend Worcester Polytechnic Institute
I
in the
think
fall.
so too. Congratulations, Roy. Well done. It is also my great pleasure to announce this year's salutatorian, who unfortunately could not be here with us this evening due to death in the family, but that's our very own Michael Zakowski. Michael has involved himself in different aspects of BHS over the course of his time. He's participated in the music and drama programs, is a member of the National Honor Society, served as a student rep to the board for the last 2 years. His teachers have spoken extremely high of his academic achievements, but also of his compassion, diligence, creativity, and ingenuity. Michael also was a 2023 recipient of the CABE Award. He will be attending the University of Connecticut this fall to study mechanical engineering. Michael, wishing you much support for you and your family during this difficult time, and congratulations to you for working so hard and earning this honor. Well done. And lastly, if I just could, I would just like to give a shout out to our entire staff. We did do staff appreciation over the last week to 2 weeks. And we try to coincide it all with teacher appreciation. And I just want to say what amazing staff we have. We're very blessed here in Bolton to have such amazing people to work together on behalf of our children and do just such an amazing job. And I feel very thankful to serve as superintendent with such amazing people. That concludes my report this evening.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to all our recipients. Moving on to comments from the audience. Is there anyone out there in the audience who would like to make any public comment this evening?
Yeah, I have a quick question. I just wanted to understand.
Kevin, you got to do me a favor. You got to identify yourself, please, and state your address.
Sure. My name is Kevin Dean, and my address is 102 South Road in Bolton. My question is, it was because of COVID-19 that we made the transition to virtual meetings? Board of Ed meetings?
Yes. I mean, this typically is not a question and answer period. If you'd like to email me, I'd be happy to answer, but we did go to virtual meetings during COVID, and we had a board discussion about remaining as a board virtual in the fall and winter, and there was illnesses coming and going, and we all decided that we would remain virtual for the time being. I have discussed with the superintendent about going back to in-person, but that's going to be probably on the agenda for next month.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing. Anyone else in the comment audience who would like to make a comment this evening? Okay. Sorry, I blackened my own eye being careless over the weekend. I was working too many hours and doing too many things, and I was being careless, and I hurt myself very badly. So you'll have to look at that for this evening. Do we have any additions to the agenda?
I do not.
Cool. On to routine business and the approval of minutes. I'm looking for a motion, please, to approve the minutes of the April 5th, 2023 Board of Education Business Meeting.
So moved. This is Chris.
I'll second Rhea.
Thank you, Chris and Maria. Do we have any questions, comments, or edits on these minutes? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed or abstaining? I think that was everybody. On to Board of Education Committee reports, and we'll start with curriculum.
Hi, give me a moment to just pull it up. Okay, the curriculum subcommittee met on Monday, May 1st. The primary focus of the meeting was reviewing the status of the reading pilot and next steps for next year, in addition to reviewing the current universal assessments for reading and math. There will be a brief review of the reading program pilot for us tonight. The committee also discussed reviewing current online subscriptions to determine what is being purchased for next year, and we completed a professional development update noting the professional development goals for next year. There's still no update from the Connecticut State Department of Education regarding social studies standards as of our meeting, but we are hoping that this will be available in June. And that's it.
Thank you very much. On to finance.
Right now, we have expended 73% of the budget and in comparison to 72% of the budget last year. And Superintendent Hecht will explain the transfers and the overall budget.
Thank you very much. So we continue, if we could go back to that next, thank you. At this point, we still project spending 100% for regular instruction. We like to hang on to that money until the bitter end because you just never know what may be needed. If we could go on to the next page, please. We continue to be in a deficit with regards to special education, which we are going to be able to cover this year. If we could go to the next page, please. Currently, we are looking at between the savings from salaries and benefits, some additional savings that we found that we could shore up under admin and support services at $110,657. We still have legal bills coming in with regards to special education and some other legal pieces. Again, we didn't have to go to the Board of Finance for an ask. We still have some open positions, which is what accounts for our salary and benefit situation. So, that's where we stand at this point. And as I've been sharing all along, I was hopeful that we would get to this point where we would be able to give money back at the end of the year, but we just needed to hang on to it because special ed has been very volatile this year. If we could go to the transfers, please. Thank you. We just have 3 transfers. The first was a reclassification for travel costs for the robotic competition for Mrs. Moore. Then shortfall in instructional technology for the Chromebooks, as well as a reclassification for instructional supplies for the BCBA. Any questions? So we'll need a motion to approve the April transfers, please. Rhea, you want to make that motion to approve the April transfers?
Sorry, I'll make
Somebody.
a motion to approve the transfers for April.
I'll second that. This is Diana.
Thank you, Rhea and Diana.
Thank you, Rhea and Diana. Is there any questions or comments about these transfers? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Is there anyone who is opposed? or abstaining. Thank you. On to BHS student rep reports. Do we have representatives this evening?
I believe Erin's on, yes.
Yeah. Okay. First, I wanted to happily introduce next year's junior student representative, Andrew Goodness. So welcome, Andrew. You want to say
Hi,
something?
thank you all so much for the opportunity. It's awesome to be able to represent myself and my fellow students on the Board of Ed.
Welcome, Andrew. We're looking forward to having you join us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then first on April 19th, the juniors had NGSS testing and everything went well for that. And through April 20th to the 23rd, the band and chorus classes went on a trip to Virginia Beach for a competition. They went to Busch Gardens, Motor World, and the beach also. And the chorus ended up in second place in their competition, and the band got the Spirit Award. And overall, the band and chorus students had a very enjoyable time. And from April 24th to the 28th, students dressed up for Spirit Week. And on that Friday, there was also a pep rally, and each grade volunteered 2 students to take part of the activities set up, which included Hungry Hippo, balloon popping, and musical chairs. And at the end, the seniors played basketball against a teacher team, and the seniors had won. And on April 27th, the Latin students went on a field trip to the Holiday Hill. The students took part in Latin-related activities. And from May 1st to the 12th, there's AP exams going on, and those are taking place in the Bolton High School library. And so far, everything's running smoothly for that. And finally, this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. And yesterday, the teachers were provided breakfast from the student council community. And in addition to the breakfast, students wrote note cards and made posters that were then placed on all the teachers' doors to show their appreciation. Thank you to all of our staff. Each and every one of you are very appreciated. That's it.
Great job, Erin. Thank you. I know you guys probably have studying to do, Erin, so feel free to stay, but you can go study if you and Andrew need to.
Thank you very much. On to community meeting reports. Is there anyone who has any community meetings to report on this evening?
I did attend, oh,
Go ahead, Ria.
okay. I did attend the CREC meeting. Part of it, I wasn't able to attend the whole meeting. And I'd say the biggest takeaway this time is the discussion of House Bill 5003, which is a educational funding bill. I don't understand how Bolton would be affected, but I know that different boards of education have been writing to the legislature to get the bill amended more favorably to for the funding. And that would help to take some of the pressure off of individual towns so that we wouldn't have so much pressure on our taxes and mill rate to fund public education. So I don't know how Bolton, I mean, every town is treated differently. So I don't know what the calculation looks like, but so I don't have that. I sort of felt like I didn't have adequate information, but that's an issue at this time that maybe we want to talk about at some time. That's all.
I attended the April Bolton Scholarship Fund meeting. Applications, the window to submit applications closed this past Tuesday. Good news is that applications from the high school were up considerably over the last few years. So thank you to the guidance department and Mr. Maselli for all their help in getting the word out. Awards will be announced at graduation in June.
Thank you, Rhea and Chris. Anyone else? Okay, I will now turn things over to the superintendent for the superintendent of schools report.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to turn it over to Director of Teaching and Learning, Monica Giglio Casper, and she is going to give you an update on K-5 reading.
Good evening, members of the board. I am going to ask for one small favor, and that is if it's all right with everyone, since I'm also doing the strategic plan update right after that, if I could just sort of slide into the next presentation without stopping after questions, if that's all right with everyone. I've got one in PowerPoint and one in Google, so it'll still take a minute. All right, thank you. Let me get started here. Okay. So as I'm sure the subcommittee definitely knows, in early October, the state of Connecticut released 6 approved programs based on the science of reading for early reading in K-3. None of the programs that were approved were the core of what Bolton is currently using. So we were charged with looking at another option for our students, while at the same time completing a waiver to see if we would be able to have the permission and the time to work with the programs that we were currently using in the combination of programs. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a timeline and just a little bit of information on how we went through the process this year. As you can see in the very beginning, they announced the 6 programs. The instructional coach at BCS, Kelly Baer, and I did attend a vendor fair, and we went through the process of collecting samples, collecting quotes, trying to see who would be the best to work with, trying to see who was going to offer us what we wanted for our teachers and our students. And our criteria for narrowing our choices were, we wanted authentic literature, we wanted books in students' hands, that was very important to us. We wanted a degree of teacher autonomy. We did not want a situation where if this is Tuesday, we must be on page 117, every single person. And we wanted flexibility to use the parts of our programming that we feel are working very well for students. And that would be certainly our early phonemic awareness and phonics programming. That is relatively recent, over the last 5 years, and our students have been making great progress with that. We also just instituted this year a 3 through 5 word study / spelling program that is the Sunday system, which is backed by the Orton Gillingham research. And according to teachers in 3 through 5, they are seeing great growth in our students. So beginning in December, we did narrow this down to 2 programs out of the 6. One of them was Amplify CKLA, the other one was EL Imagine Learning. We felt that these gave our teachers and students the opportunities to grow, to learn, and involved authentic literature. We were so fortunate. First of all, I would love to second what Superintendent Hecht said regarding teacher appreciation. I am so impressed and so happy with the way teachers willingly sort of jumped in and said, yes, we want to try this. Yes, we want to look for a program that's going to be very robust for our kids. So one teacher from each grade piloted a unit. And the criteria, really, what we were really looking at was we wanted to make sure that none of our students missed anything that they would normally have been taught, which did result in some adjustment because we wanted to make sure that they were aligned with our units the way they were. We also felt that just leafing through materials wasn't quite enough, and to live with it for a bit was going to be much more helpful to have those conversations with students, not just, they did go through the programs in other units and they used a rubric to evaluate it, but it really was not as valuable as working with it in the classroom. So we had to plan that. We had to place orders for required texts, which was wonderful in a way because we had some great classroom library books that were incorporated there, and we needed to train. So our pilot teachers were trained in January. This was just really, yes, planning, but also a certain degree of luck that we were able to find that the trainers were available, that their available times coincided when we had professional development. And our non-pilot teachers were also included in the process, and they sort of split it up for which program they might be interested in. So with the 3 grades at each level, one did CKLA, one did EL Imagine Learning, and one kept with the selection of programs that we currently use. And we started in January 23rd, almost the exact midpoint of the school year. And Kelly Bear and Principal Giard and Assistant Principal Fezich were just instrumental in making sure that they were there for PLCs, they were watching lessons happening in classrooms. You know, we were meeting with teachers and talking with them. But Kelly especially was helpful with making sure that if they needed parts of their units redone, if we needed to make copies of materials, if we needed to connect very quickly with our representative, that someone was able to do that. So the evaluation process started, they finished their units. Our teachers met in a staff meeting. They had a conversation with the entire group so they could feel, they can get an idea of how everyone felt about the different programs. They also met at grade levels in professional learning communities when they had that. And they noted that they were very happy with EL Imagine Learning's high quality and varied texts. So for a unit, it wouldn't just have a story. It would have a story. It would have a nonfiction component. It would have a primary source. It might have a poem. It might have a speech. There was a lot of varied text, and that was very engaging for the students. They were happy with the quality of student discourse that resulted from that. And they were also happy that this was a program that allowed us to keep the phonics programs and phonemic awareness parts that were working. And this is where we are headed to next year. We are going for what they consider, it's really like an extended pilot. It's considered year 0 at the grade levels, keeping our current materials available if we need anything for supplementation. I do believe I have never seen, oh, I'm so sorry, excuse me. I do believe I've never seen a program that doesn't need some degree of supplementation. But this is where we're going to find out where that may happen. We have already provided a startup training. There is a digital platform that teachers are going to be working with. They are going to have classroom libraries, and we are going to look at the teachers' editions. One thing that is also very flexible with this particular program is it does also have an open source component, in that if we have particular student activities that they want to do, we don't necessarily have to have a class set of student workbooks. We can just pull those off the digital platform and they're available to us. And even though we are keeping our phonics component, if we have a student who needs a little bit more, we are going to have full access to the phonics component in this program, even though that's not becoming part of our Tier 1 instruction. So we are purchasing, we want to be responsible. We want to make sure that we are purchasing just exactly what we need so that we can run this well. And we had, we consulted with the teachers, and we decided that more in-depth professional development would occur in October as opposed to September. They're ready to jump in with the digital platform. However, there is a lot of universal assessment that comes in. There's a lot of looking at data that happens at the beginning of the year. There's setting up your classroom and setting up your classroom communities. So there are a couple of weeks there where they don't need to dive directly into the program right away. We are going to review our current assessments that we use to determine efficacy, but we are planning to not make any changes because we won't have an apples to apples comparison. We want to make sure that the assessments that we used this year are the same assessments that we use next year for consistency. And we're going to continue to use the PLC process, 4th Tuesday, some PD sessions, and we will, after that time passes, we will check regularly for efficacy and engagement and determine where we have to supplement, if we have to supplement, if we have to make any different purchases that we didn't plan on, and if we want to make any adjustments to our assessments. So. Are there any questions?
I'm going with Great
I was gonna
job.
say, I can't see everybody, so, because it's on my screen. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Good
All
job.
right.
Thank you. So we'll
Thank
move on
you.
to the strategic plan and we'll let Monica get set up. I do want to give Monica and the Kelly and Daryl, Amela, the teachers, a huge shout out. It was a heavy lift. And they did an amazing job as always. And we're looking forward to seeing what next year brings.
Yeah, I mean, they've just been such a great team. Can't say enough good things. It's been wonderful. All right. So on to the 2023 strategic plan. This is, I guess, the update, the overview, the update to the update that occurred in January. So this is our sort of end of the year look back. I know that both Principal Maselli and Principal Giard have updates after this. So I'm sure if you have any questions, anything involving either school, that they would be happy to answer that for you. Okay. I wanted to make sure I kept these beautiful graphics for Portrait of a Graduate because I do love them. So these were the focus areas that were presented in January from both schools. High school had focus areas. They all really revolved around creating the best environment possible for our students and our staff, and our families, and to make sure that we are, that our curricula are aligned, that we are teaching to that, we are assessing appropriately and effectively. And center school, same, you'll see that theme. It might be worded slightly differently. It really is about a positive and efficacious nurturing culture. So for the first goal, student success, as a district, and this is really obviously both schools, we maintained a commitment to teacher clarity this year, and that has become part of what we are looking for when we're observing teachers in the classroom. We're ensuring that there's a common language across the district regarding success criteria and learning intentions. And I see it all the time. I was just in an observation last week, and it's just always there. The kids are very familiar with the routines and the language. We wanted to make sure that we were reviewing current curricula. We wanted to make sure we are compliant. There have been some new requirements, and we're certainly meeting the standards and plan to take a deeper dive moving forward. As Sue mentioned earlier, we have some new social studies work coming this summer, and we will be working on health as well to ensure compliance there. There are some new requirements regarding Native American and Indigenous peoples, environmental science, and we're on track with that. We want to make sure that everything that we're using online is purposeful. We have already made a few adjustments and stopped using some products because they were heavily used during the pandemic. And then as we were in person, people realized that they liked them, but they didn't have the need to use them as much. So we're not going to keep anything that isn't used. And then there are some things that people and teachers thought, well, you know, I didn't think I would use this as much as I did, but now this has become an integral part of my instruction, and that is staying. So that's part of what we're looking at to review these programs, and including transferable skills alignment in our curriculum documents. You can see Bolton High School, the transferable skills work is ongoing. The capstone had some updates, and that has also been very successful. I was at capstone night. It was a really wonderful event. We continue to expand college credit courses, dual credit. Sorry, I almost said dual enrollment, not the same things, but dual credit courses. I am attending a meeting for that as well next week because we want to encourage that. And there have been some improvements to connections, and we're, again, this bullet with aligning assessments to transferable skills, that sort of speaks to making sure that what we have in our curriculum mapping software matches what is being taught, and the digital protocols are ongoing. The freshman team is wonderful. So Team 26, as you know, next year we'll turn to Team 27, and that has created a really wonderful, positive team for incoming freshmen. So, I'm sorry, I'm moving your pictures around. I can read. In Bolton Center School, as you just heard, this pilot really took a lot of time. Before the reading programs, they also did make requirements of what we could use for assessments for students in grades K-3. And that was not as much of an adjustment because we were already using the dynamic indicators of basic early literacy skills, also known as the DIBELS. We were using an older edition. We have upgraded to the 8th edition, and it is being administered to all students at the beginning, middle, and end of the year. So that is one of our compliance issues that really was very easy for us, thankfully. Units are being rewritten, that work is ongoing, and there has been a lot happening with tier 2 strategies at the classroom level. So those are students who need some support, but not the level of support where they would be removed from the classroom for some sort of intensive instruction, but helping the teachers with strategies that they can apply to reach all students in their centers when they're doing center work. Our second goal with caring culture, again, we come back to Team 26. Social emotional learning work has been ongoing. Both PBIS teams in both schools have been very successful. The teachers are invested in making our schools a caring and happy place for their students and for their staff. So that is very clear and obvious. And it's been great to have parents in, and we'll speak to that. It's been wonderful to have people in person. And there were parent-teacher conferences at the high school and the open house for 8th grade. At center school, again, student-led conferences were in person. There was a winter family night, which was really a fun night for the kids to show off what they had been doing in school. Superintendent Hacht and I were both there. It was packed, and everybody was having a great, I think everyone was happy to be back in the buildings. We also, in both schools, piloted Parent Square, and that is going to be our new parent communication piece to continue that families are involved. It's very similar to our current messaging system, but it allows teachers to send messages and posts as well. High school is also using Student Square, which is wonderful. Again, ongoing SEL instruction, they use Second Step at BCS. And I have been observing in Doree's class from time to time, and those skills classes really provide a wonderful opportunity for students to not only have STEAM activities and science-connected labs, but some SEL instruction as well in a place where they can enjoy learning. So for talent development, we continue to maintain our mentor assignments. There are also unofficial mentors at each building. We have a lot of new teachers who did not have to go through the team process. They're very experienced veteran teachers. They just need to have that camaraderie with someone else in their building. Both schools have done a great job with that. We had a couple of new teachers trained to be reflection paper reviewers for team. And we have heavy representation of teachers in hiring committees and other key committees like the Professional Development and Evaluation Committee, which is going to have a heavy lift next year when we redo our teacher evaluation process. And we also make
Can I just add that redo is being driven by the state? That's not
Yes.
Bolton has just decided to redo
Nope,
it.
it's the state again.
Department of Education driven.
Yes, it's actually a very positive thing because it's going to really give us a bit more autonomy to determine how we want to look at teaching and learning. So we're looking forward to it, but it's going to be a lot. And also funding we have our internal professional development opportunities, but if we have a teacher, we have a specialist, we have, anyone who is interested in going to professional development that is connected with their role, that we can ensure that they are able to attend. And I believe this came up at an earlier board meeting with just with funding and budget. And there was a concern that our teachers getting what they need regarding professional development. And I do believe that they certainly are, we have not told anyone at this point that they cannot attend something. There are ways. We have allocated grant funding. We have changed things to make sure that teachers have what they need. Both schools have revamped PLC templates. Teachers who need training for ECE they are teaching those courses, attend those. And I know that Ms. Sacco attended the training for the new social studies course, which has been a lot of work. So it's been a great course. It's been a popular course, but it took a lot of professional development. And we are also in the process of shoring up our AP offerings and the support that is required there and PD. And there is our team again. Excuse me. Sorry, I don't usually talk this much in a row. And at Bolton Center School, you're going to see a lot of the same things. It's revising and taking a look at professional learning communities, how we utilize our PD time, fourth Tuesdays, even staff meetings, when the principals can get some of that housekeeping out of the way and give that time to the teachers to work, they are able to do that. And this is that mentorship and partnership for new teachers. So even if they're not new to the profession, there is someone there who can help them. And we want to make sure, again, that they are attending training that they're looking for. This is a quick little graphic of some, not all, because I did not list every professional conference because that would have been too long, of the professional learning staff have done this year. I aligned it with the goals, but really it tends to go across in many cases. So I know that Ms. Buckley will have a copy of this when the minutes go out, so you can certainly read through it. If you have any questions, you can let me know. And then our last bullet, I'm going to ask Superintendent Heck to speak toward our resource stewardship.
So as the board knows, we continue to utilize zero-based budgeting. I provide monthly updates to both the Board of Ed and the Board of Finance. We have been very focused on our grant management and our allocation of resources. You know, I'm proud of how we utilized the federal COVID monies in terms of not putting it into positions where then we were going to be on a cliff with regards to those positions, but to rather get things like the sound field system at Center School or computers that we really needed. We continue to focus on our data privacy compliance for all of our software used by our students. We continue to maintain our one-to-one device replacement cycle to ensure that all students have access to resources. We continue to collaborate with the Board of Selectmen on CAPA budget items. I want to thank Andrew and Scott for all of their time working through the CAPA budget and all those meetings. Obviously, our STEAM coach at BCS has been a huge plus. Additional class at Bolton High School for no additional cost. I just want to remind everyone there will be a town meeting next Tuesday, May 16th, to reallocate bond monies for the energy management system replacement at Bolton Center School. That will be at 7 p.m. at Town Hall. And we continue to have shared services for both facilities and our school meal program. And I've been very active in engaging both the Board of Finance and parents in the budget process this year, especially. Any questions for us? I want to thank Monica and Joe and Daryl. Great job. Monica, great job on all that talking. And not totally losing your voice. That was wonderful. All right. Thank you. And now I am going to turn it over to Mr. Giard.
Thank you, Superintendent Heck. I want to start with you real quick with a thank you for the amount of work you did for the robotics trip. You took on kind of the point person in terms of flights and organizing and getting parents and Dory on board and helping with the fundraising with the PTA. So thank you. And to Director Gilio Casper for the amount of work you do with the reading program. I know you gave us some credit, but more of it was due your way with leading the ship with the reading program. So thank you. Couple quick updates. So BCS, we've been very busy with state testing since April break. Students finished up their Smarter Balance testing on Tuesday, and grade 5 and 8 will take on the NGSS testing on May 23rd. The staff is very proud of how hard the students have been trying, and a big thank you to Assistant Principal Fezich, who's taken on like the makeups and a lot of that scheduling component with the testing. So she's been very, very solid with that. Recently, we've had 2 very well attended concerts. our spring choral concert on May 4th, and our spring band concert last night on May 10th. Shout out to the BCS Music Department for their hard work and to the students for their amazing performances. We're very excited to be back at BCS this year for 8th grade promotion, which will take place on the morning of June 15th. And we're looking forward to many fun assemblies, trips, and activities that will lead up to the last day of school. Last month, I did mention the amazing Washington, D.C. trip that we had just completed. And that was 92 7th and 8th grade students from March 29th to the 31st took that amazing educational trip. Tonight, I wanted to show you the quick video I mentioned was coming, and it highlights the kind of the sites and the experiences the students had.
And I didn't know there were so many. Like, I didn't know they had a monument for.
I had no idea it existed.
I didn't know that.
So we're very happy with the Washington, D.C. 2023 trip. We had our first Washington, D.C. trip in 2019, always with the intent that this was going to be an every other year trip. And then the COVID came along and reared its ugly head and puts out of business for 2 years. So we're absolutely thrilled that we were able to reinstitute the trip this year. The first time we had taken 78 students. This time we took 92 students down to Washington, D.C. And we spent 3 days and 2 nights touring our nation's capital.
It was really cool to go there and see it for the first time.
And I thought they were all really interesting.
The Abraham Lincoln,
the National History Museum, and you could see the Washington Monument from where we stood.
The African American History Museum.
The Illumination tour the first night.
Martin Luther King Jr. Monument is unfinished because his work was unfinished.
In the African American History Museum, we went into the Emmett Till,
And especially the art room because it just represents how much history and how far people of color have come throughout America's history.
Thomas Jefferson had kids with the slave, and he made them continue as slaves.
I really like the FDR Memorial.
FDR served 4 terms
In a wheelchair. I usually didn't want people to know that he was disabled.
And I like the abstract art on the wall.
The changing of the guard happens every hour of the day.
I learned that there's 400,000 graves in Arlington Cemetery.
I learned that it's illegal to pick the cherry blossoms off the trees.
Amazing to see the excitement of the students, the history being brought alive of the things that they've learned in the classroom, and them experiencing it firsthand was truly amazing. The teachers, the chaperones, the staff that went along with the trip were great, supportive of the students.
It certainly has been important to both Mr. Giard and myself that we try to develop a process by which our students can really experience the nation's capital. We are so pleased that we are able to have this trip and look forward to going again in 2 years.
As you can see, there was some learning, but also a lot of fun. and it was really a great trip. I'm going to turn it over to BCS sixth grade ELA teacher, Ms. DeHart.
Hi, everyone. I am here attending the meeting tonight to discuss the successful fundraiser that students at BCS participated in during the month of April. We raised over $1,400 for the Foundation Water for South Sudan, an organization that sixth graders learned about this year as we read the book A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park. I made the following video to showcase the fundraiser and for you to hear from a few sixth graders who participated. So thank you.
As a part of the sixth grade ELA curriculum, students read A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park, which is a narrative nonfiction story about a man named Salva Dutt, based on his true life experiences. Salva grew up in an African country called Sudan, which was in the middle of the Second Sudanese Civil War when he was a child, mostly fought over water access.
Because people in South Sudan and Sudan don't have any water, but here we just take it for granted. So
girls, they can't go to school because they have to focus on getting water for their family. Which are the education in South Sudan are boys.
Walking to water can take all day, and girls are not able to go to school or get educated because of this. So we came up with a great idea. Why not start a fundraiser and raise funds for Salva's Foundation, Water for South Sudan, where they will be able to build wells and schools. Wondering how you get middle schoolers excited to fundraise? Start a penny war.
I like the penny war because it kind of like put the different grades to each other. I love rolling the cart down to the cafeteria and with the containers on it. Proud because I'm able to help people that don't have as much as we do.
Over the course of 3 weeks, students in grades 6, 7, and 8 collected change and counted it in competition against one another.
Very grateful because everybody donated a lot of money.
Grades K through 5 were also involved by listening to a read aloud regarding water scarcity in Africa and participating in the school-wide PJ Day on April 24th. While it was a close competition, the sixth graders, who are accredited with starting the fundraiser, ended up winning with the most money raised.
To help other people.
While being competitive made raising money fun, students were able to learn the lesson behind the fundraiser, that helping others in need is the Bolton way.
Everybody deserves to have a good life.
Great job, Kelly. That's excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
And that ends the BCS update. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Maselli.
Good evening, everyone. So May is off to a very busy start. Tuesday, 2 days ago, marked the 1-month countdown to graduation, which will take place at 6:30 p.m. on Friday, June 9th. We'd love to have all the members of the Board of Ed join us in the ceremony. Please let us know if you can attend with us. Last Sunday, I had the real pleasure of spending time with families of 2 of our graduates at the annual CIAC Scholar Athlete Banquet. It was a great ceremony, excellent keynote speaker, and it was a real honor to personally present the awards to Julia Zimmerman and Mason Fox, our scholar athletes for Bolton High School this year. As Aaron mentioned, AP testing was last week and this week for our juniors and seniors, and there were well over 100, I think 116, 119 AP tests were given this year. Obviously, some students sat for more than one, but it was an incredible number, and hats off to Mrs. Klepfer for organizing all of that. And we are looking forward to hearing about their success when those scores roll in. And the Bolton High School faculty is genuinely appreciated for the continued support of the board and Superintendent Hecht for the professional development time provided to us. I really wish you could have seen the teachers dig in during the early release time last Friday. The writing, discussion, planning really was amazing to watch. even on a Friday afternoon in May, all those teachers were highly engaged in the important work of planning effective instruction. So thank you for the continued support of professional development. And there's been a couple of references to Teacher Appreciation Week, and lots of great things happened. But several of us were particularly moved by an activity that Christine Johnson, our Dean of Students, organized with our student body, where students put together some quotes, and Christine took some pictures, and it was so moving that I thought it was worth sharing with the public, and it will be going out on social media and through Parent Square to the community tomorrow. But I invite you, if you have just over 8 minutes, to visit the YouTube channel for Bolton High School and check out what our students had to say about all of our staff here.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to go on to my budget update for 23-24, Mr. Maselli, if we could. So just by way of a reminder that we received our final insurance information, and we had a renewal savings of $70,000 for next year. The town and the Board of Ed locked in a diesel rate. They've been watching it very carefully, waiting for the diesel fuel costs to come down, because when we budgeted, it was extremely high. So we had a total savings of those two items of $92,910 in next year's budget. So made the Board of Finance aware of that. They did reduce the Board of Education's budget by that amount. At the last meeting, the Board of Selectmen gave $100,000 from this year's budget towards next year's budget. At that point, the Board of Finance then approved an annual budget for the town of Bolton for FY24 in the amount of $24,826,779 to go to referendum. The budget referendum is on Tuesday, May 23rd at St. Maurice Church from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Any questions for me about the budget? I do want to give a shout out and a thanks to all of the parents who showed up at the various meetings in support of the budget. And I'd also like to thank the board members who attended the numerous budget meetings and were very supportive. So I want to thank you all very much. And that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you much. I don't think we have any unfinished business.
We do not.
Sorry, my son has started crying right at this moment, and this is distracting me. New business. Do we have any resignations?
Yes, we do. We received a resignation from BCS 8th grade math teacher Alex Goslin and BHS social worker Steve Merwin, effective the end of the school year. I want to thank them both for their service and wish them well in their next endeavors.
Okay, on to future business. I don't think we have any of that. So that brings us to executive session. I'm looking for a motion to go into executive session to discuss the superintendent's review and to invite the superintendent.
So moved.
I'll second.
Ben, we have
Chris.
Thank you, Ben and Chris. Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed or abstaining? All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening.